All right, all right. Let's make sure we got all our topics up here on the screen for today's stream. It appears like we do. All right. Rundown. We got a couple cool topics to talk about in today's stream. Thank you for anyone joining along, watching the stream as well. I really, really do appreciate it. Let me see. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it appears like the stream is coming through good. That's fantastic news. Great news. Hopefully, we can get a good turnout today. I know last stream was a little bit on the lighter side, but in the event that it is a little bit of a lighter stream today as well, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, more than likely. And then, obviously, I know we're going to go over a little bit in the stream today, but we also have the Community Shield this Sunday as well. I'm very much looking forward to that. I hope you guys are as well. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So, as you can see, I got my topics that I'm going to be going over on the stream right here. Where's my hand? On the right side of the stream as well. Make sure to check out, if you haven't already done so, please check out the SpeakPipe voicemail, which is in the description of the stream as well. This is a new thing I've been trying to implement on the streams, where anyone who's watching can submit a voicemail. This voicemail will be then displayed or read or played, however you want to put it, on the stream later on. Last time we did this, I believe, is on Wednesday or something like that. I believe when we did it, we had one kid, I believe by the name of Adam, who submitted a stream, or who submitted a voicemail, to make sure that we were getting it going correctly. I played it kind of in the middle of the stream. Hopefully, I'm going to hope that in the future that we kind of do this a little bit towards the end of the stream. Obviously, just doing them all like in the middle of when we're going over our topics, I don't believe is the best alternative, if I'm being entirely honest. But then again, we'll just have to wait and see, what kind of turnout we get on that, and we'll see how that goes. Like I said, yeah, I'm going to obviously be streaming today. Might stream tomorrow. It is likely. And then we have the Community Shield, which is going to be on Sunday. I have, in talking about the Community Shield, referred to it as the Carabao Cup final by mistake at least 3 times when setting up the show for today. I also almost referred to it as the Carabao Cup final, which it obviously is not. But if you saw the title of the stream, I think Manchester United are back a little bit. And when I say back, I don't mean the Manchester United of old. The Manchester United of old appears to be dead and gone as a Liverpool fan. I can see that, and most Manchester United fans will tell that to themselves, that this the Manchester United of old is dead and gone. But I do see a lot of improvements this transfer window from Manchester United. We'll go through them. The number one, obviously, is the Cunha deal, which happened towards the beginning of the transfer window. For me, this was a brilliant signing. I forget how much it was, but in doing so, Connor Woods said United back. Woods, I hope not. But I do think that there is a chance United might be back, because I have liked what they've done in the transfer window. As I was saying, the Cunha deal towards the beginning of the transfer window was a really, really good signing. I thought that the follow-up to the Cunha signing with United getting Mbomo was another really, really good signing. United in the past have spent a lot of money on unproven Premier League players. And what I mean by that is when the dumpster fire that was Eric Ten Hag, that bald embarrassment, was the manager of United. He's number one. He signed players just because he had experience with them at Ajax, which is idiotic in and of itself. I don't know where on earth he gets off thinking that just because he likes particular players that it's a smart decision for him to sign them. But nevertheless, he did that anyway. Some of them worked out. Some of them have been dog shit. But since then, Ruben Amorim obviously came in after United sacked Ten Hag in the middle of last season, and yeah, I think it was a little unfair to blame United's position in the table last season on Ruben Amorim because he was dealing with a team that was built by a moron, just to put it bluntly. Connor Wood said Ten Hag still has more trophies than Arteta, though. Yeah, later in the stream, Woods, I was going to bring up the Community Shield, how Liverpool aren't really even looking. But as a Liverpool fan, obviously I would like to win it, but if we don't, it's not the end of the world. Arteta likes to hold the Community Shield as a trophy that he's won. That just goes to show the mindset and the level of Arteta, a psychopath and an idiot. When it comes down to it, the United position of last season, I don't think you could blame Ruben Amorim too much because he was dealing with players that were brought in by, frankly, someone who I struggle to really believe that he has a fully functioning brain. Eric Ten Hag was an embarrassment from the moment they stepped into Manchester United and was an embarrassment when he left. I personally think Amorim's a good manager. When Jurgen Klopp announced that he was actually going to be leaving Liverpool a season and a half ago, there was rumors that Amorim would be the one that could replace Klopp. Obviously, that didn't happen, and he went to our biggest rivals. I think Amorim probably, with all due respect to the United fans, I know Woods is in the chat, I think Amorim would have probably shot someone to have gotten the Liverpool job before he went to United, but he didn't. That just is what it is. Nevertheless, I don't want to be overcritical on Amorim because I actually think he is a good manager. And I think so far this transfer window, he's done what United needed to do. Bring in Premier League proven talent because you're not going to actually get the pull of the best players in the world like you had previously. So, for instance, if you're taking into consideration the moves that Liverpool and Arsenal are making, Liverpool appear to potentially be bringing in Isak. Obviously, Arsenal brought in Gyökeres. There's been a couple moves that those two clubs, as well as Manchester City, Chelsea, have made. Those clubs are currently going to compete in the Champions League, and they've been doing quite well. United just don't have that pull anymore. But United are still United. Middle of last week, we were talking on stream about the Sesko deal, and there were a couple Liverpool fans in the stream, as there always are, that were saying, why on earth would Sesko go to Manchester United over Newcastle? Especially given the state of Manchester United currently. I think that's a little disrespectful because they're still United, unfortunately. And Newcastle, let's not act as though this is going to like a 2011 Barcelona. Newcastle United got relegated 10 years ago. Okay, yeah, obviously they got bought by Saudi money. I believe it's Saudi money. Maybe it's oil money. I don't know. But they can't even spend that. And last season, yes, they beat us in a Carabao Cup final. But the way that they reacted, you would have thought they won the Champions League. It was a little, obviously they haven't won a trophy in quite some time. But now Newcastle fans, they win one trophy and they like to act as though they are Real Madrid and they should have a bigger pull. I don't understand how anyone could rationalize to me why a player, a 22-year-old player in the peak of his career, would want to go play at Newcastle United before Manchester United. I don't get it. I refuse to believe that that's the case. no disrespect to Newcastle United, but that is essentially like if the Lakers were shit, that is essentially like a basketball player deciding that they want to play for a Division II basketball team instead of playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Even if the Lakers suck, they're still the Lakers. United are garbage. They finished 15th. But another thing, people are starting to believe, and this is why I made the title of this stream, Are Manchester United Back? People are starting to act as though, United are going to finish in a similar position this season, and I quite frankly think that that's idiotic. I don't think it's likely that United finish in the lower half of the table. Frankly, I think it's more likely that United would push for top 6 rather than that. And this is coming from someone who, Connor Woods in the chat, knows more than anyone. I can't stand Manchester United. But the thing that bothers me is, and it's a big part of our fan base rather than in just world football fans in general, we like to act as though Manchester United are like disabled or something and they can't compete anymore. I don't know where on earth that comes from. Connor Wood says, only thing Newcastle has is Champions League over United, which does mean something, but yes, United is United. Yeah, but also, too, on top of where, like, people thinking that United is going to finish in the same position next season, Woods, is, not for nothing, Manchester United not having to play in Europe is actually a benefit of United. They're going to have only domestic football to have to worry about, so they're only going to play Prem, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Only having to worry about that is actually a benefit to them because they're not going to have the load on the players that they need to. They're able to make the Premier League games that they're going to play 10 times more important than they were last season. At a certain point last season, when it comes to United and Spurs, they realized that they were on a sinking ship and that all they really had to worry about was the Europa League final. They really did not have to worry about the fact that, if we drop points to Brentford this week, like, it really doesn't matter because the only way we're going to get Europe is through the Europa League final. And not for nothing, if they were to have focused on the Premier League, honestly and truthfully, what United fan cares if they come in 8th versus 15th? Yes, obviously it sucks coming in 15th. It's a little embarrassing, but it's like, who really cares? Like, it's the same thing at the end of the day. You're not going to play in Europe. You're only going to have to worry about domestic football next season. There's not much of a difference between coming in 5th and then coming in 8th. If you're finishing below 7th in the Premier League, it means jack. It doesn't really, as long as you don't get relegated, and there is no real threat of Manchester United being relegated. I know, obviously, we like to. Niche fan said liked. Thanks. I don't know if that just came up in the chat because you liked it, or I don't know how that worked. But yeah, thanks, Niche fan. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I think the reality of the situation is, and I've put out a couple of videos and stuff like that. Lucky Singh says, Rasmus Højlund, I am sending Italy. Yeah, I think there's a good chance that there's a chance that he's going to be leaving the club. I saw that. He said 8th versus 15th is massive. We get loads more money for 8th than 15th. Manchester United don't have to worry about money in between. I don't know if that's even true, to be honest with you. If they get more money from being in 8th or 15th, but Manchester United don't have to worry about that. Manchester United make the bulk of their money from endorsements and the global sale of their products and things like that. Lucky Singh said Benjamin Sesko, Xerxes, Amad Diallo are ahead of you. Yeah, over Højlund for sure, absolutely. I think Højlund. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. Ten Hag was frankly an embarrassment, and I think that is a perfect signing that encapsulates the time that Erik Ten Hag had at United, where he looked like a bumbling buffoon. On top of that, the Andre Onana goalkeeper, which signing was terrible, and It's one of those things. Look at this guy. Niche fan says, "God bless the USA and all our American United brothers and sisters." Definitely, God bless the USA, the United brothers and sisters. I just want to clarify that I won't be included in that at all. I'm just making this stream about United to talk about them a little bit. I you can if you want, Niche fan. I fully support you asking for blessings to the United fans, and God bless you as well. But I don't want to be I want to be blessed, but I don't want to be blessed included with the United fan. Well, I guess I do, but not. I don't really want to be associated with them at all. Is essentially what I'm saying. Yeah, but United. I kind of lost where I was going with my train of thought there. Yeah, the Sesko deal. The Sesko deal for me, I think that United probably overpaid by like 20 million on this. But on the flip side of things, I think that hearing Newcastle fans talk about Manchester United like as if Newcastle was a better place to go and play. I think United fans have to feel a little good that it's like you kind of daddied them a little bit, and you had to just lay it on the table and say, we're Manchester United, we're taking this guy. Who really cares? Niche fan said, who do you support? I support Liverpool, brother. That's why I was a little bit adamant and about not being included in with the United fans. Yeah, so I support Liverpool. It's but your God bless to you too, and your club is fun to talk about. Yeah, United are in a tough position right now, but I think that they're improving. A big thing I've talked about this in previous streams, previous videos, and stuff like that. The big thing about last season that would surprise me with United is the fact that United would like lose a game 2-0 against Brentford, and it wasn't that surprising to me that they would concede 2 goals against Brentford, but it was like you couldn't get 1 goal. You know what I mean? You just went scoreless at Old Trafford against Brentford. I don't know if that's an exact score line that happened, but there was a lot of fixtures which ended similar to that. And for me, I always looked at it and I was like, that's a little pathetic. But I think them essentially bringing in a whole new front three is indicative of the fact that they identified that is an issue for them and they're looking to make changes. The midfield for me is not that big of an issue for United. Bruno Fernandes is obviously a very good player. I think Kobe Mainu, when he's firing on all cylinders, is really, really good as well. Not really sure about Ugarte, but nevertheless, I think he's not the worst thing that's ever happened at United. And your defenders, I don't think, are that bad at all. I definitely think that you need a goalkeeper for sure. That's definitely. Niche fan said, "No, seriously, it was amazing what you did. What you lot did for Ronaldo on the 7th minute for his daughter that passed away. Pure class. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, United do classy things as well. I've seen a lot. When the news broke about Jota, I've seen a lot of United fans and players in the club in general really show their support for Liverpool in that case. People, I for one, I love to, shit talk United fans. It's one of my favorite hobbies, but I definitely when it gets to that level of past the game and a little bit into real life, I do think it's important that we recognize it's a rivalry. It shouldn't be hatred. Anyone that takes it past that level, for in all honesty, should be evaluated. Yeah, Niche fan, are your ancestors from Liverpool? No, my ancestors are from Ireland. I'm not English at all. But yeah, that I like Liverpool because my dad did, and but no ancestors from Liverpool. Where are you from, Niche fan? You'll have to let me know in the chat. Are you from Manchester? Yeah. I guess just wrapping up the United thing, I think United have, in a lot of respects, been I don't want to say a laughing stock, but Definitely the laughing stock of the Big Six teams for sure. And the only team that you were really in competition with not being the laughing stock was Tottenham, and United really shouldn't be involved in a conversation with Tottenham whatsoever. So I do have to say that I think United have made the moves that I think are important. I think that if the club want to improve, it's going to be a marathon, not a sprint for United. I do honestly and truthfully, from an unbiased perspective, think that Amarim is probably the best guy in the job for the club. Especially, I don't, there's no. The unfortunate reality right now is where United have been hurt is United have lost some of the pull that they had for many years. You won the Premier League, and Braden Coupon said bum. I don't know if you're calling me a bum. I don't want to talk shit back at you, if you can clarify in the chat if you're calling me a bum, then or if it's someone else, because I don't want to retaliate and then you're referring to someone else as a bum. Niche fan said we're getting Baleba and Hackney. Lucky Singh said Glazer out fans. I hear you guys. I do think you guys are gonna get that Baleba. Yeah, for sure. Not sure about Hackney. That would be interesting to see how that whole thing pans out. We'll see how this Braden guy responds. That'll definitely be interesting. It seems as though he called me a bum, but I'm not entirely confident on that. I hope he didn't join, call me a bum, and then leave, and I'll have to wonder if that was directed at me. Yeah. Anyway, I think Ruben Amorim is the guy for the job for United. I think they're making some improvements that were needed. To be honest with you, you need a new goalkeeper. I think that's going to be a real big issue for you moving forward. And yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see if there are some additional moves United make this transfer window. I think Højlund maybe leaving the club is the best for him and Manchester United, but Niche fan said, we're always going to be the biggest and most prestigious club in the world. You lot are big, but you'll never be as big as us or Real Madrid. I think that is an asinine statement. I think that if Lucky Singh said, I want Qatar. Not sure what that means, man, but I appreciate the comment. Going back to what Niche fan said, yeah, I think that's completely incorrect. Because currently what makes Manchester United the biggest club in the world, along with one of the biggest clubs in the world, I think you're third. I think if you're going to take the mass appeal from all of the clubs, I think Real Madrid are the biggest, Barcelona is the second, then United, then Liverpool. And I do concur that you guys are one of the biggest clubs in the world, but I think the gap between you and Liverpool has shrunk a lot in the past decade. Unfortunately, for you, I think that a decade of not being the best, what makes these teams big clubs third, are you drunk? Not yet. But I think what makes these teams big is their mass appeal to a global audience. United had a mass appeal to a global audience due to them being historically good, or historically great, rather. And the reality of the situation is it's been a decade since that you've actually been great and won trophies, or relevant trophies, that is. I don't want to say relevant, because you've won an FA Cup, you've won a Carabao Cup, but let's be real. United were what United were because they were winning European Cups and they were winning Premier Leagues. You haven't won a Premier League since 2013, and you can't even qualify to compete in the best European competitions. Now, with that being said, if United begin to make a turnaround and start rebuilding in the right direction, I do think that there's a chance United still trend upwards, and I don't think that the gap between Liverpool and United will get closed anymore. But the reality of the situation is if you have 10 more years where you're performing at the level that you have, I think that Liverpool will overtake you. The reality, Liverpool will never be as big as us. Our fan base is orders of magnitude bigger than yours. Yeah, but like I said, your fan base is bigger than ours because of generations of kids growing up wanting to be Manchester United fans. If you're a kid now, you're not going to support United as likely as you are to support Liverpool because Liverpool have been a bigger club. So the reality of the situation is if you keep trending in the direction that you are, the size of your fan base is going to shrink while Liverpool's increases because we're successful. So he said he's trolling us, Lucky. I'm not trolling you. I'm really not. I don't think I said any niche fan, man. I'm not saying this to troll. I'm being honest. I think that's the reality. And Lucky said Qatar. Oh, you want Qatar to own United? Yeah, sorry, I didn't come back to that. I'm really not trolling you guys. I'm being dead serious. I think that you are the biggest club in England. I think you're the third biggest in the world. I do believe that, honestly and truthfully, niche fan, I genuinely do believe that Barcelona is the second biggest club in the world. Real's the biggest, no matter what anyone says. Then I think it goes Barcelona. Then I think it goes Manchester United. Then Liverpool. Honestly and truthfully, if we win one more Premier League, we have more European Cups than you, and we have more Premier League titles than you, or top flight titles. You obviously, since the league shifted over to the Premier League, you've been the bigger team. Barcelona, yeah, man. Barcelona. What is the best single team that you've ever seen play? It's the Barcelona team from like whatever 07, realistically probably up until 2017, like that 10-year span, is probably the best team of all time. Correct? Barcelona have a huge mass appeal. And also, too, you have to take into consideration the Spanish-speaking countries versus the English-speaking countries. The Spanish-speaking countries that love football, it's likely that they support Real Madrid and Barcelona are the two teams. English-speaking countries, United, then Liverpool. I think, to be honest with you, I'm not trolling you, niche fan. I genuinely believe that the biggest drop-off is after Liverpool to the next biggest team in England, but I don't think the drop-off from United to Liverpool is as big as it was 10 years ago. Can you agree with that at the very least? Do you still think that the difference in the overall size of the fan base and the size of the clubs is the same in 2025 as it was in 2015? We are third bigger team world, Manchester United. Lucky, are you agreeing? You agree with what I'm saying? That Barcelona would probably be bigger than Manchester United, or are you agreeing that the drop off after Liverpool is bigger than the gap between Liverpool and United? That's what I want to know, and I hope Niche Fan didn't drop off. There's a chance that he may have just gotten fed up because he thought I was trolling him, but I really wasn't. That's my honest belief. I think, especially when you take into consideration, it's going to be difficult for United if Liverpool continuously keep winning Premier Leagues, competing in Europe, and United are stagnant in where they are now. Because one more Premier League, we have the most top-flight English trophies, and we already have more Champions Leagues than you. That's my outlook on the whole situation. I'd love to know what you guys think, if I'm completely wrong here, but I don't think it's a wild take for me to say that Barcelona are a bigger club than Manchester United. That's just, I think, factual. After our drop, after like Alex Ferguson, know what you mean. Okay, I understand what you're saying. And guys, also too, if you're watching along with me, if you look down below in the description, there is a link to what's called SpeakPipe. That is something that we're doing, or I'm doing, where if you guys have any topics that you want to talk about, leave a voicemail on my SpeakPipe link, and I'm then going to air the voicemail that you leave over the stream, and we can talk about it just to kind of give you guys an opportunity to voice your opinions and stuff like that. Just make sure you talk clear into the voicemail when you do it. We won FA Cups, not been Premier League or Champions League. Yes. Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue there, Lucky. It's us, Real Madrid, but you think PSG, you're out of your top. You think PSG is a bigger club than Liverpool globally? No. You're doing that off of the fact that they just won the Champions League. No. That's maybe the most outrageous. So you think the biggest clubs in the world, it goes United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, then Liverpool? Are we into... No, Niche fan. You cannot... No. I would say Bayern are a bigger club than PSG globally. I would not say PSG. No way. I completely disagree with you there, man. Completely disagree with you. Unfortunately, I do. Because I don't see how you can make an argument that PSG are bigger than Liverpool whatsoever. Nishvan said, luckily, we will always be the biggest club in the world. See, but no, you won't. That's an outrageous mindset to have. You're just... What? All right, articulate to me, either in the chat or via SpeakPipe if you want to. Articulate to me why Manchester United are always going to be the biggest club in the world. Lucky, thank you for having my back on this. He said in the chat, Liverpool much bigger than PSG. 100% are bigger than PSG. 110% bigger than PSG. Honestly, we're out of our tree here. Where's AC Milan come into all this? AC Milan are a bigger club than PSG. I would honestly and truthfully say, I would listen to an argument if you said that AC Milan are a bigger team or a bigger club than Liverpool. I could understand that. I would disagree, but I would understand it. But to say PSG are a bigger club than Liverpool Football Club is pretty outrageous, Niche fan. I have to be honest with you. Maybe one of the most outrageous things that I've heard. Okay, PSG won just European Cup. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think PSG are a huge team, but PSG are a club that play in a league where they're the biggest competitor, and the drop off to the next competitor is massive. It's unbelievable. Liverpool have had success Champions League 6 times. Yeah, 6 Champions Leagues. I don't know how many Champions Leagues PSG have won. If I'm being honest, they could have won 5. I have no clue. But the honest truth of the matter is they're a one-club league where the biggest club is PSG, and the drop-off in competition is huge. It's not even that big of a drop-off in competition from Bayern to, let's say, Dortmund, Leverkusen. We're good, obviously. I don't think that Leverkusen will continue with the way that they, they've lost, Wirtz, Frimpong, definitely lost several players. I don't think that they're going to be competing how they were 2 seasons ago, but, just to show the level of competition that's in the Bundesliga, that is far superior than the competition that's in Liga 1. I believe that's how you say the French league. I don't know, I'm dumb American. Sometimes I struggle, but yeah, hopefully Niche fan joins in down below in the chat again, gives us a little more of an explanation as to why he feels this way. And again, guys, I know I keep reiterating on it, but if you want to call into the show and have your voice heard, please submit a voicemail via the SpeakPipe link down below in the description. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about whatever topics that you want to talk about, whether it's you want to voice your own opinion, or whether you want me to talk about a topic. Let me know. It's down below in the description. Yes, but going on a little bit, not to change the subject, I could circle back if we want to. Community Shield coming up this Sunday. If you were Arteta, you'd probably be very, very excited for this. The reality is that unlike Arteta and many Arsenal fans. I've seen my club win a trophy, a relevant trophy, in the past couple of years, as have Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace just won the FA Cup. Obviously, I know that the Crystal Palace will probably be more excited for the Community Shield than, let's say, Liverpool are. Understandably so. I feel bad for Palace. I think that they've gotten a raw deal when it comes down to the Nottingham Forest getting the Europa League nod over them. I think that, frankly, that's just a load of bullshit. But it is what it is, honestly. I'm very excited to see Liverpool field a team. I think that with a bunch of new players, I'm excited to see a bunch of these new players compete. But I also think it's an opportunity to maybe, especially considering that in today's day and age, you could have 5 substitutes. I'm excited to see Slot potentially field a bunch of new players out there and really get some experience under their belt. On top of that, I think it'll be really interesting because Liverpool need a center back, and they've been very heavily linked with the likes of Mark Gahey, who I would expect to see starting for Crystal Palace. I really, really like Gahey. I think he's a really, really good talent. I think Liverpool desperately need to sign a new center back. The problem with Gahey is he might be looking at it like, what's the likelihood that I actually play regular first-team football this season with competing with both Van Dijk and Konate? But honestly and truthfully, I think Konate's future with Liverpool Football Club is very much up in the air. I think that a similar situation to what happened with Trent Alexander-Arnold is happening with Ibrahima Konate, and I expect to see him probably leave the club next season or after this season. I expect him to leave on a free. We'll have to wait and see if that occurs. But yeah, the Community Shield, I think, to be honest with you guys, unless anyone in the chat has anything specific that you want me to talk about with regard to the Community Shield, I do intend on streaming tomorrow and maybe going further into the analysis of how I see Liverpool, potentially, fielding a team and how what I really want to see out of the game and things of that nature. But we'll have to wait and see, and I look forward to talking about that a little more. Lucky Singh says, I want Jim Ratcliffe own more of Manchester United to get full UK. Hey, I mean, I think probably a lot of people would agree. You'll have to forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but Sajam Erasmus said W. I'm assuming that you're calling me W, Sajam, and I really appreciate that. That's a very kind thing for you to say to me. I'm pretty sure some asshole joined in earlier and called me a bum. To him, he can go eat a plate of shit. That was maybe a little too far. I apologize about that. That was a little crass. Shouldn't have said that. That maybe took it a little far. He's Lucky Singh put an X in the American flag and said, "No offense, Glazers, but I think they not sports people." Yeah, I mean, a lot of people dislike the Glazers, so don't make it an American thing. Come on, Lucky. We have a good dynamic here. Don't make it an American thing. The Glazers, yeah, I get why you guys don't want them there, but come on. Moving on. We got a friend of the channel just joined the chat. What's up, Adam? How are we doing, dude? Thank you for joining us again today, Adam. Adam, for anyone in the chat who does not know, Adam was the inductee on our voice call system through SpeakPipe. He was our first and only call that we've had thus far. So shout out to Adam. Really appreciate you joining us along with us again. Yes, of course I remember you, brother. Moving on with our topics. Vissa and Lucky said, welcome channel. Nice. That's very nice. Lucky, yeah. Well, I don't know if you're calling me a welcome channel, if you're saying welcome to Adam. But, yeah, absolutely. Adam said, I am his twin, bro. I don't know what that means, but You'll have to tell me what that means. Um, yeah, so I've seen reports today of the reports that Vissa and Randall Kolo Muani could be going to Newcastle. Now, to preface this, it appears as though Johan Vissa is a higher likelihood that he will be going to Newcastle. That's been kind of Lucky said Adam in the chat. Hell, Lucky, you're the man, dude. I appreciate having you here. Um, yeah, Johan Vissa has been linked heavily with Newcastle for quite some time, and yeah, I think that there's a really really good possibility that Johan Vissa is the target that Newcastle desperately land. Randall Kolo Muani has been a kind of a rumor, and there's been reports that apparently it is just a rumor that the likelihood that Kolo Muani goes to Liverpool or goes to Newcastle rather is not as high as maybe some Newcastle fans would like it to be, and that his goal is to remain a Juventus player. I think Vissa is the probable likelihood that that Newcastle will sign him, because I've seen reports that Liverpool have said if we're not going to get Isak, we're going to go in for Vissa. So they're going to kind of try to pull the Ekatike move a little bit um, on Newcastle. Ashley said United in the mud. Absolutely, welcome Ashley. Yeah, I think I think the likelihood is for me, as I see all of this going, I think Johan Vissa will join Newcastle United. I think he's made it apparent that he doesn't want to stay at Brentford, and then I think the Randall Kolo Muani move, I think, is probably not going to happen. If I was to guess, I think it's probably a little bit too much of a staunch transition for him, and I think he's wanted at Juventus, and I think Juve is a bigger club, and I think there's a high likelihood that he stays. What does all this mean? Why am I talking about this as a Liverpool fan? Obviously, I think there's the likelihood that Alexander Isak goes to Liverpool is predicated on whether or not Newcastle can get a forward. We got two voicemails here. We got one from Anonymous and one from Amir. I believe that what Adam was saying in the chat is that Amir is his brother. We're going to play a voicemail here from Anonymous. Hopefully, whoever it is does not say anything heinous, and my channel gets flagged or something like that. So we're going to listen to Anonymous, who is anonymous, and then we're going to listen to Amir, who I believe is Adam's brother. Okay, here we go.
Hey dude, hey Limo, you're a really cool channel. I saw it from my brother Adam. So from my brother Adam, I'm his twin brother Amir, and I would really like if you can maybe mention me. I wanted to say to you that I actually have a channel with some subscribers, and if you can maybe subscribe, I would really love it if you make my day. Thank you.
Amir, how's it going, man? I appreciate you. I couldn't hear it really too clear, and it looks like we got a another voicemail from you, so I'm going to play that now, and we'll hear what you have to say, Amir. But shout out to Amir, Adam in the chat's twin brother. Here we go.
Hey, Limo, I'm saying again, please don't respond to the first message, just respond to the second one because I forgot to say something and forgot to do something, but I just really love your content. I'm sorry I was continue to say it, but I really love your content and I wish that you would become a better I really want you to become a better YouTuber. And I want to be one of your first subs, so I want to be one of your first subs. You can really love your content. Bye. Bye.
Well, thank you very much, Amir. I really, really appreciate it, man. Thank you to you and your brother Adam for supporting the channel. Definitely, I appreciate you guys watching. That's super cool. Thank you guys for also calling into the show. I really, really appreciate it. I'm not 100%. You'll have to let me know in the chat if I heard you correctly. But it sounded like you might have a YouTube channel yourself that you're looking to start. And all I could say is, keep working hard if that's the case. And yeah, you guys are the man. You guys, you two brothers are awesome, and I appreciate you guys supporting the channel and calling into the show. So I'm going into the chat here. We got Justin who said, United in the mud, LOL. You know you're facing a different beast this coming season. Gonna surprise a few. Justin, I definitely kind of believe that is going to be the case. I was talking about it a little bit earlier in the stream, that I think United have made some very, very good signings. I do believe Mbomo, good signing. Cunha, good signing. Sesko, a little bit of a risk with the dollar value, especially, but yeah, I do think that it could be a turnaround year from United a little bit. I think United are a club that obviously have struggled, but I don't think that the back four really needed too much work. You've got a couple very good center midfielders. You need a new goalkeeper. That's going to be huge for Manchester United if they are looking to rebuild the club a little bit. I think, I'm obviously a Liverpool supporter, but if you look at Liverpool, when we rebuilt under Klopp, it felt as though we really could not get the rebuild really underway until we officially brought in a goalkeeper, which was Alisson Becker. So, I think that's a big move United need to make. But I have been on the record saying that I think United will turn around. Justin Lucky said, good thing Jim Radcliffe pressure Glazer to get Premier League proven better players. So okay, I'm pushing Adam Wharton, selling Rasmus Højlund 30 million, and you're pushing Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton's a very, very good player. I think the only problem with potentially you guys bringing in Adam Wharton would potentially be the fact that there's Crystal Palace have had a lot of players that have been sought after by the so big six clubs. We've seen Eze get a lot of attraction from Arsenal. There's a potential for that, but then also too, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, there's a potential for Mark Gahey to go to Liverpool, as there's been rumors with that for quite some time. Adam Wharton, really, really good talent, man. If I was a United fan, I would say that would be a really, really good signing. So you'll just have to wait and see. Justin said, top 8, I'd be happy. Top 6, possibly. Def need a new goalkeeper. He has no hands. Oh, no. Respect your opinion. And now I actually want your opinion here, Justin. And if you weren't on the stream, you can feel free to respond in the chat, or you could use the speak pipe down below in the description. We just took a call from Adam and his brother Amir, where you can call into the channel and I'll play it live. But what is the expectation for Ruben Amorim going into this upcoming season? That is what's interesting to me at a time like this, to where you're coming off of a season where you obviously were not at the level that we've seen from United historically. But and I think the expectations have been lowered. You're saying top 8, I'd be happy. Top 6, possibly. Where is the line that you're going to say, hey, if we reach this top part of the table, I'd be happy and would want to keep making the improvements under Amorim, or if we do not meet that expectation, then unfortunately I think we might need to move away from Ruben Amorim and we need a manager that's going to come in and make an impact right now. Where is that? I think top 8 is probably the mark that I would say. If obviously I'm not a United fan, but if I was, I think that so Lucky just said my aim, score more goals and top 8. I think that's realistic, and I think that's where United fans should be focused on is coming. Christopher said, where did Liverpool finish with Klopp's first season? I'm not criticizing. I don't even know off the top of my head. I'm not criticizing and saying that where is Amorim going to finish in his first full season. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest with you, because that was in I believe 2016, 2017. I would guess probably top 4 or something like that, Christopher. I'm not entirely sure. I think the landscape of Klopp's when he first took over for a full first season with Liverpool, the landscape is completely different than how it is for United. It's actually more difficult for United. It's way more difficult than United, and I think that the team that Jurgen Klopp took over was better than the team that Ruben Amorim has taken over. Jurgen Klopp took over a team that wasn't great, but the reality of the situation is 2 seasons prior finished second in the Premier League. Well, United haven't finished second in the Premier League in years. So I think top 8 is a reasonable expectation. You're not going to finish... Let's just break this down like this. Manchester United are not going to finish above Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, or Chelsea. We know that just off the bat. So top 4 is not an expectation for Manchester United. I think then the 4 places after that should be where United should look to finish. They should be looking to compete in the table with the likes of Newcastle, Spurs, Villa. I feel like I'm missing a team from potentially that list who could potentially be at that point in the table. Yeah, but that would put them in 8th. So it would be Newcastle, Villa, Spurs, United. I would say that's a reasonable top 8, and they should be looking to compete with those 3 teams. Because the reality of the situation is United's not going to finish top 4. We all know this. Liverpool fans know this. United fans know this. Everyone knows this. That they're not going to finish top 4. Unless one of those 4 teams that I mentioned have a disastrous season. Like if Arsenal or Chelsea or even City have a disastrous season, then I think that there's a chance that they potentially don't finish or if they don't finish top 4, there's a chance that United could potentially compete. But I really don't believe that that's a chance or something that United fans should be banking on. I think United fans need to set the expectation for the manager. I think top 8 seems to be the consensus amongst the people in the chat. 8 or 7, I think that's reasonable. I think that's really reasonable. I think, you can't say top half of the table is the expectation because that's not good. But, okay, so we got Royden Frost said, if United get Baleba and Donnarumma, they will finish top 4. Why would you definitely, I think Baleba will go. Donnarumma's not going to Manchester United. Are we talking about the same Donnarumma that just won the Champions League with PSG? Why would he go to Manchester United? Justin said, Royden also followed up, Rodri is out for the United game already. Tough to see a player keep getting those injuries, man. It's really, really, it hasn't looked good, for him, unfortunately. But Justin said, yep, anything is possible, never say never, but Amorim needs a few more windows realistically. I think that that's a good expectation to set for Amorim 100%. Christopher said, this season should be all about seeing progress in play. Just like Liverpool, they had a great offense, but shit defense the first years. But Klopp had backing from the board. So the same for Amorim. I think, Yeah, I know what you mean in terms of the offense. I do think that was a real transitional period in our front 3 at that time when Jurgen Klopp first came in. Bobby Firmino was very, very new to the club at that point. I can't remember I think Coutinho left the summer after he came in. So I can't remember. It was just so long ago at this point, to be honest with you. Royden Frost said, and PSG have said Donnarumma is available for £26 million. If that is the case, everyone and their mother, with the exception of a couple clubs who have been who have a good goalkeeper, everyone and their mother should be jumping on Donnarumma. I think that's crazy for £26 million. If you guys are watching along, please get in the chat. Please make sure to leave a voicemail through my speak pipe as well so you can join in live into the channel. Subscribe as well, like the video so more people are able to see it. I appreciate all you guys engaging supporting the channel and being involved. I really, really do appreciate it because I love doing this with you guys and getting your opinions on footballing topics. Yeah, Justin just said, if that is true, United should be all over it. I'll be honest with you, 26 million. That United should shell out 52 million. They should say 26. 26 is nice. We'll double it for him, just so nobody else comes in or something like that. 26 million for Donnarumma? Oh my lord. Lucky Singh said Tottenham Hotspur brought Thomas Frank. I think that's a good managerial assignment for Spurs. I'll be honest with you. Thomas Frank is a really, really good bring-in for Spurs. I wasn't really that happy that they got rid of Ange Postecoglou. I thought he deserved a little bit more time, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. But, yeah, I definitely think he is a good manager if they were to replace him. Royden said, just liked and subscribed. Royden, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for your support, dude. That really means the world to me. Thank you so very much. That's awesome. I appreciate it. And any of you other guys watching along that you aren't subscribed, please make sure to do so. Adam or Amir said, bro, I sent a voicemail. All right, I'll jump on that in a few minutes, brother. Christopher said, PSG have made it official that the new goalkeeper is number 1 and Donnarumma is for sale. 26 million. That's crazy. Only issue is his high wages. He's currently on 206,000 a week in pounds. Lucky said Thomas Frank Tottenham, but they're buying Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, if he, I don't even care if he's on 206,000. United should be all over that, man. United should be all over that. Nicholas Jackson to Spurs. I have actually seen reports that there is a potential for Nicholas Jackson to be going to Newcastle United. All right, Amir. Let's see what Amir had to say again.
Okay, bro. I really wanted to say that I was waiting for you to come back with your live stream. I actually I super love your concept. I want you to become better and better. But hey, do you need help? If you maybe need something, if you maybe want maybe a heartfelt message from me, I'm always gonna be there. One of your best supporters. I really love you, and I wish you the best for your YouTube channel and your
Thank you.
life. You're one of the greatest YouTubers. I 100% think you can be the next Fabrizio Romano with all these transfers. They're actually even catching me up with a bit of football because I don't see it much because I play like on the PlayStation. I don't see it much, so I really thank you for your content.
Well, thank you, Amir. I really, really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for your support from you and your brother. You guys are awesome. So thank you for sending in another call. I really, really appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna head back over here to the chat, see what we got going on here. It's really, really popping off here a little bit. Yeah, 206 pounds. Donnarumma is only 26. Surely it's not 26, surely. That's crazy. Can't be right. Newcastle is in for Vissa as well. Yeah, I was talking a little bit earlier about the Vissa transfer. I think that is more than likely going to be happening. I think there was a rumor that Kolo Muani could be headed to Newcastle as well, but it appears that's all rumors at this point. So, at the end of the day, we will have to see with the Vissa transfer, but I do think it is likely that Vissa will be going to Newcastle United. He wants Champions League football. I don't think any of I know there was a report Liverpool could be in for him if they aren't able to secure the Isak deal, but I think if Newcastle bring in Isak, then Liverpool are going to buy a striker. Justin said Vissa is class. Yeah, I believe he's very, very class. I think he's a very underrated player. Very, very good, reliable striker. Yeah, I think if Newcastle bring him in, it's not going to be the same as Isak. But how old is Johan Vissa? We'll have to see here. He is. So he's going to be 29 in September. So September 3rd is his birthday. So definitely not a young player, and he definitely appears like he wants to make that big money move. So yeah, I don't blame him. I think he's good enough to play at that level in Europe regularly for sure. Lucky said, Newcastle United, please buy a good striker. As a Liverpool fan, I agree, Lucky, because it seems as though we can't get our guy until Newcastle go out and get their guy. So, you know, I really actually the Benjamin Sesko deal I think probably delayed the Alexander Isak deal maybe by a week or two, if we're all being honest. Christopher said Donnarumma was first goalkeeper in Milan when he was 16. Feels like he's been around forever. Yeah, I know. He is one of those guys. It is crazy. I think I was looking something up earlier, and I saw Wayne Rooney isn't even like 40 yet. That was one that like I was like, what? Number one, no disrespect to Rooney, but he most certainly looks 40 years old. But yeah, I think he's like 39. He'll be turning 40 in October. I'm like, gosh, Wayne Rooney's only 11 years older than me. That's insane. Especially he's another player who started playing when he was 16 years old. So by the time he was, let's say, 36, he had been on the scene for 20 years. Crazy, crazy. Justin said, you must be excited getting Frimpong. Seriously good player. Wanted him at United. Man, I'm really excited for him. And you know what it is, Justin, about that Frimpong? He's a really, really good player. Really, really fun to watch. And he's an entertaining right back, but in a different way than Trent. Trent was really, really entertaining because of the long balls, the passes across the pitch, the free kicks, all of that was very David Beckham-esque, as if he was playing at a right back. Whereas Frimpong is a little bit like a bomber, very, very pacey, great on the overlap, still good, still could make a really, really good pass. I don't think many can pass like Trent Alexander-Arnold, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I'm very excited for that Frimpong, man. Very, very excited for him. I think we secured that deal for I believe 35 million euros or something like that, which is a steal. And when you take into consideration, right, this is why I think that the Frimpong deal was such a good one for Liverpool. We brought in Frimpong, and then on top of that, we still have Connor Bradley, who obviously both of those players have a different sort of player profile that maybe in particular moments Slot might want to play Frimpong in a game where he feels he can exploit pace and behind, or space and behind rather, with Frimpong's pace, and then Connor Bradley if we need to be a little bit more defensively sound. But you're talking about two really, really good right backs that we had for cumulatively for £35 million. I think that's a really, 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 really good signing. Lucky said it's been terrible window for Tottenham and Newcastle. I think Tottenham's been alright. I don't think it's been as bad for Tottenham. Obviously, them not securing the Morgan Gibbs-White transfer isn't great for them. But, they brought in Mohamed Kudus. That's a really, really good signing. And I think, obviously, you lose a player of Sonny's caliber. That's not great as well. Moving on. Santos Flo said GGMU. Of course, he is abbreviating Glory Glory Man United. DJ Superfly Guy. Maybe one of the best names I've seen for quite some time. Said, we're not back as long as Onana is in goal. The season is always over before it starts, regardless who we buy. I can't agree with you more. I'll be honest, DJ Superfly Guy. Earlier in the stream, I was saying to someone, I forget who it was, you have to remind me, guys, in the chat, that it's a little bit similar to when Liverpool started to rebuild under Jurgen Klopp and we had Mignolet in goal. You can't make those improvements unless you get a really sound goalkeeper, and unfortunately, whether it's in goal, Hoyland, or a couple other signings, I think that there's some dead weight that United need to cut off from the Ten Hag era. Christopher said, Liverpool's have made a great window, but I'm not sure they will win it this year. Last year was Klopp's team that won the league. Now Slot is trying to rebuild with his own players. He will need time. I'll be honest, I understand what you're saying. I think a big concern for me is if I think Liverpool were really, really good last season. And obviously, yes, it was Jurgen Klopp's team. But we were very fortunate by the dip in form last season from both Manchester City and Arsenal. If they start firing on all cylinders, or even if you see a team like Chelsea, who played extremely well in the Club World Cup, if you see these players, or these teams rather, really make the improvements that they need to compete in the top four and ultimately the Premier League, it could be a lot more difficult for Liverpool this season than it was last year. We got it done last year because our players and our manager were fantastic, but also too on top of that, we benefited from the fact that other teams weren't playing at their best, and I think that that's a major issue. Okay, Santos Flow said again, Dream would be getting Donnarumma and Lamens, then sell Onana and Bayinder. I definitely think at the very least, you certainly need to bring in a new starting goalkeeper. I think that should be a priority of Manchester United, because Onana unfortunately makes far too many mistakes in areas that he shouldn't. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Onana's on some pretty hefty wages, so he might be a player that maybe United look to loan out, potentially, because they can't sell him, similar to what they've been doing with the Marcus Rashford situation, obviously loaning him to Villa and now loaning him out to Barcelona. Maybe that's an option for Andre Onana. Lucky said, hates to say it, PSG bought good signings for Liverpool, but they're champions for Frimpong, Florian Wirtz. Your manager has convinced the board. Yeah, I think Liverpool, to be honest with you, I think we've been very smart in the sense that we didn't just spend a ton of money last season, or last summer transfer window in areas or for players that we really did not need to spend money on. The only transfer that we made last transfer window was for Federico Chiesa. Obviously, that hasn't been the most electric signing in the world. Hopefully, if he stays at Liverpool, he can get a little bit more time in the upcoming season. But I don't. I think that was a big part of it as well, is that Liverpool have been able to spend so much money this transfer window, because they really didn't spend any. And again, Lucky, going back to what you said, that really could be a case due to the fact that Arna has gotten the support of the board, versus last season. Maybe it was a little unknown coming off of the Klopp era, whereas now seeing how Arna succeeded last year with Liverpool, they've decided we're really going to support this guy, put a ton of money in his pocket, and see if he can continue driving on with an already really, really good side. He said the loss of Diaz is huge. His tenacity is a huge impact in games. I agree, Christopher, but I'll be honest with you. I think that Diaz was someone who didn't have enough output. One game in particular that really comes to mind for me was not this season, but the previous one. We played Manchester City at home in the Prem, and there was an opportunity for Diaz. The ball got put on a platter for him right at the edge of the 18-yard box, and he sailed the ball over the goal. And I was like, how is he just not putting that on target? And then later in the game, I think he beat Kyle Walker and another guy dribbling the ball, and it was beautiful, but it really didn't result in anything. And then after the game, everyone's like, look at this great dribble from Luis Diaz. And I'm like, yeah, but Luis Diaz had an opportunity to seal 3 points for us. Honestly, I think when it came down to it, number one, Luis Diaz is getting paid over 200 grand at Bayern Munich. And on top of that, they gave us, 70, 80 million for Luis Diaz. I don't think he's worth that much money. And I don't think the club were prepared to pay him as much as Bayern are paying him. I think He's a really, really good player, really solid player, and a great investment for the club. But I always questioned his output, to be honest with you, and on in a lot of respects, I felt maybe I was a little too critical of Luis Diaz at times because it's a little unfortunate you're going to be compared. Your output's going to be compared when you're playing on the opposite side of Mohamed Salah, but I really do believe that unfortunately Luis Diaz, you know, I don't think he had the output that we needed, and even compared to like someone like Cody Gakpo isn't as flashy and electric of a player as Luis Diaz, but I think there's a potential that Cody Gakpo could score a ton of goals. Lucky said, how was your third signing, fourth signing? Can't remember. I'm not sure, Lucky, if you're asking for all the signings that we made so far this transfer window, but if you are, I'll reiterate them to you. Obviously, we signed Jeremy Frimpong, which we talked about, Florian Wirtz. We also signed Kirkez as well. And then on top of that, we signed Ekatike. Those are the big money moves that Liverpool have made. But, Darwin Núñez appears to be leaving the club. I really am actually. I don't want to say I'm too upset about the fact that Núñez is going to be leaving Liverpool, but in a lot of respects, I am. He's been someone who's gotten criticized a lot, and in certain respects, I think he deserves the criticism that he's received. In other respects, I think some Liverpool fans have gone way over top with his criticism. Excuse me. But yeah, I think probably a reason that I'm upset about the potential for Darwin leaving to go to Al Hilal, obviously, is the fact that I think he's I think he's a good player, and I really wanted him to, if he wasn't going to compete at Liverpool, get the opportunity to maybe play in Serie A. I know the likes of Napoli were linked with him, AC Milan, but I know when these Saudi Arabia contracts start coming in for these guys, it's almost so hard for them to say no. They're getting offered generational wealth, and it's difficult to say no. I don't want to get paid money that's going to change my bloodline for the foreseeable future. I almost feel it's unfair to criticize them. If Darwin is to leave, which there hasn't been a here we go on the matter, it's just been reported that Liverpool and Al Hilal have agreed the terms. If Darwin is to leave, I wish him nothing but the best. I'm a little sad that the whole situation didn't go the way that I would have liked it, but it is what it is. Christopher said Darwin had a bad start in his first year, a lot of hitting the bar and post. If those had gone in, it might have gone different. Yeah, I agree, man. I think he's a very emotional player. I think he's a player that I always say, Christopher, that he does the hard stuff well, and it's almost as if the easy stuff he struggles to complete. Puts himself into position into goal scoring opportunities, which is not an easy thing to do, and then he'll put the bar over the goal, or he'll put it just wide or something like that, and it's like it's 100% a mental thing if you ask me. Because we've seen the guy score some goals. The 2 goals against Newcastle at St. James's a couple years back really stick out to me. Kind of a clutch player who really started to develop a little bit of a Divock Origi aura around him, where he was really crucial in some big moments. But Lucky said Darwin Núñez hasn't worked out at Liverpool. Yeah, I agree, Lucky. I think it hasn't worked out. We'll have to wait and see. If the transfer officially happens, but there's no telling. If it how that whole situation will pan out. But let me know what other topics that you guys want to talk about. Please leave them in the chat. Feel free to leave me a voicemail and speak pipe. We got another one here from Amir the Goat.
Go again, bro. Go again. I actually want to say, I wanted to ask you if I'm not, or me and my brother, if we're pretty big parts of our, pretty big parts of your, how do I say? to be part of your channel. I'll tell you the truth. If you maybe need some help, no, no, maybe need some help. If you maybe need someone to cheer you up on stream, I'll always be there. I will always rate all your streams, and please can you check out my latest video. My channel's name is Hafiz Ujid and H and the big H, and then Hafiz Ujid. I would really like if you can see my new video on screen. I love you, bro. Wish you the best of luck.
So, Amir, I do have to apologize, man. I know you asked me to check out your channel. I just couldn't hear it in that voicemail. I apologize, brother. But if I do see your channel, I'll definitely make sure to check it out, brother. Christopher said he'd have to go. He'd have to go back to basic scoring. He overthinks. Just because it's Premier League and the goalkeeping is a step up, you have to make be more precise with your finishing, and the margin is less. Yeah, I gotta be real though, Christopher. Man, I think the issue with him is like there is a certain level that you have to be precise, but also too, if you're not hitting the target, what are we doing? You know, that's my whole thing when it comes to Darwin, is when he'll miss the target, and I'm like, come on, Darwin. You know, what are we doing? Like, you can't just be missing the target or hitting the post several times a game and stuff like that. That's what makes me think it's mental. Lucky said, as Glazers fan from Manchester United. Not sure what you mean by that, because I'm pretty sure, Lucky, you were telling me before that you were Glazers out. So you'll have to let me know what you mean by that. Because I have to say, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, please let me know. Yeah, I will. Christopher said Holland is missing the target a lot. Yeah, I will check out. I will check out your channel, buddy. I definitely will. I'll tell you this much. Amir or Adam, I'm not sure which one I'm talking to at this time, but yeah, you posted YouTuber notices me. I'll definitely check out all your some of your videos. Okay, buddy. I'll check. I'm not gonna do it right now on stream, but I'll check. I'll make sure to look at all of your videos that you got here. Okay. I appreciate your support, brother. Christopher said Holland missing the target a lot. Yeah, but Holland also hits the back of the net a lot. You know, that's where the difference comes in with Holland, brother. Man, that's the thing that pisses me off sometimes is when people like to talk shit about Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is one of them ones. Red Time said, seems like Eddie Howe needs to step up and play as the striker himself. Red Times, man, I feel bad for that brother. That poor guy, Eddie Howe, man. I actually think Eddie Howe is a good manager, and he's looking to make good signings. But the reality of the situation is the club just doesn't have the pull, and I think that is what hurts. Is I don't think that they have the pull that they need in order to secure the signings that they really want to. Honestly and truthfully, Red Times, I think that's what it is. And I can see a lot of you guys have joined. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join in the chat below if you're not going to join in the chat. My speak pipe is down below in the description. Feel free to leave a voicemail, and I will air it live on the channel. So please make sure to do so. All right. And thank you guys all for so much for your support. All the guys that have been joining in the chat here. I'll keep going a little bit. Lucky said Newcastle have been so unlucky. I completely agree, dude. They've been really, really unlucky. A lot of it is like I said, just down to the fact that they just don't have the pull. They want to compete with the big six clubs, but I think they're going to have to be creative with making some signings, because if it like I said earlier in the stream, if it comes down to Manchester United and Newcastle, the reality of the situation is a lot of players are going to pick Manchester United over Newcastle. It's got nothing to do with the manager. I completely agree. It doesn't have to do with the manager. It's just got to do with the overall appeal of the clubs, the history of the clubs as well. Um, I think that, that's more or less the situation of the matter. I don't think that it's honestly. Red Time said Newcastle can't take it anymore. Now Bayern are in a race for Jackson and Waldemade guy. I'll be honest with you, Nicholas Jackson. I can't believe that these clubs, brother, Red Times. You have to let me know what you think, bro. Who's in for Nicholas Jackson? Who? Bayern Munich are going to make a move for Nicholas Jackson. Why? That's the thing that, like, I find just outrageous are these clubs that are like, oh yeah, we're going to make a move in for Nicholas. Why? Why? I don't understand it. You guys will have to let me know down below in the chat why that this is the case. What are we doing going in for Nicholas Jackson here? I don't see the appeal. I don't understand it. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange indeed. Very strange. What's going on? Oh. Hold on one sec. I accidentally just put an overlay on. Sorry about that, guys. That was my mistake. I clicked on the wrong thing. Christopher said, I think Premier League is going to be fire this season. The top 5 race is going to be amazing. I agree. Wholeheartedly, I agree with you, Christopher. I think the Premier League title is going to be extremely tight this year. I don't think it's going to be like last season when Liverpool kind of took off with it. I think it's going to be really competitive. Yeah, I think it's going to be really competitive. It'll be interesting to see if City are back to the form that we know City for. It's like so many people are writing Manchester City off. It's like, guys, like, I think a lot of people are forgetting who Manchester City were for years and years and years. They had one bad signing, but their manager is one of the best in the world. And I think that there's, if not the best in the world, one of the best managers of all time. And I think that there's a really, really strong possibility that we see Manchester City really, really get back to their old winning ways, honestly. But you guys will have to let me know in the chat. What else do you guys want to talk about? I will be going as long as you guys want to keep me. If not, I will drop off at some point. But I don't got to drop off right now. No, sir. And Rodri missed the whole season. Yeah, but I don't know if you saw, Christopher. Rodri apparently picked up an injury today that you know, it will sideline him until at least mid-September. I don't know what injury it was, but I guess that would be a good topic that we could. I'm gonna kind of do this. Let's get a little bit. Let's update the topics. Who wins the Ballon d'Or? And I want you guys to let me know. He said, yeah, I saw it after internationals. Yeah, I don't know what he hurt. You'll have to let me know. Because I'm not 100% sure what sort of injury he sustained. Lucky said, Tottenham have set up Thomas Frank to fail. They're buying players like Leao from AC Milan. Leao's a good player, though. Is that official? Has Leao gone to Spurs? I don't think that's official, is it? You guys will have to let me know. Red Times, do you think United will be competing for title if they sign Baleba and Donnarumma? Oh, Rasta Sock said, new view here, just subscribe. I got to go back to Red Times. No. I don't think you're going to be competing for a title. Assuming when your name is Red. I'm a Liverpool supporter, so I don't know if you're my Red or if you're a Red Devil, but I just want to preface that. I don't think that United will, if you make those two signings, will challenge for a title. We were talking about it a little bit earlier in the stream, Red Times, about what the expectations should be for Manchester United. And for me, I think that, and we kind of established this amongst a couple other people in the chat too. I think top eight should be like the level. Whereas if you finish eighth, you can call it all right. We've improved, but Amarim's not out of the woodwork. And then the higher you go up in the table, the more like if you finish seventh, I still think all right, we've improved, not out of the woodwork. Sixth place, I think, is a really good improvement from Amarim, and then fifth and on, obviously, he's really improved the team drastically. I think Red Times that top four race that I'm predicting, where I think Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and Chelsea, and unless one of those teams have a real dip in form, which there's always a chance that that happens, I think that's those four teams are going to be super competitive, and then there's going to be competition from the likes of United, Newcastle, Spurs, and United, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Villa. I think will be the teams kind of competing after that for that like 8 through 5 range. But I do see those other teams being the top four. Once again, I do just want to give a shout out to Rasta Sox, who said he's a new viewer here and he subscribed. I appreciate you, man. Lucky said Glazers out, fan, or aim to score more goals in top 8 or 7. Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. That should be you guys' goal for this upcoming season, Lucky. Christopher said, Baleba and Donnarumma would make you fight for top 4. Without them, 6 to 8. That's a really good... Yeah, actually, you know what, Christopher? I really love that input. Because if you go out and you get Baleba and Donnarumma, you then have to be looking at if you're the board, right, or you're a United fan, you then have to be looking at it and being like, all right, man, we gave Amarim what he needs to turn this club around, and at that point, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like you need to get the positions, you need to get the positions that are required for the amount of money that we're spending. We're bringing in players that you want. 100% agree with Christopher. That if you bring in those guys, I think top 4 is somewhat of a reasonable expectation. Moving on, we got Lucky. For us, we need to keep building the club each season. I do agree. I think if you don't get Baleba and Donnarumma, I think that then you need to be looking at it from a perspective of, all right, we're not going to get the position that we've always thought that we should get, but we we have made improvements, and that should be we should continue to look to improve season after season. Rasta Stocks said it hurts me that you won the league. I can't say 20 times anymore. Yeah, yeah, it's tough. For sure, man. I know what you mean. Listen, man. You guys had us. I'm 29, so I remember Rasta Stocks, the years where you guys were just hammering us, man. Hammering us. Amir and Adam said, welcome to the Limo family. Absolutely. Rasta Stocks said, bless up to him. It looks like maybe Amir left another message potentially for us. Amir, you left 2 for me. Should I listen to both of them, or should I listen to the more recent one? You'll have to let me know, and then I'll listen to whichever one, unless you want me to listen to both. For now, I'm going to go through a couple more comments that we got. Lucky said, that's where my aim is. Just keep building each season as a fan. Yeah, I think you're in a real tough position, and I think that's a really good mindset. Rasta Stocks said, I see Liverpool winning again. I think there's a really good chance. There's a really good chance Liverpool definitely continued to compete at that level. Amir said both. Okay, we're gonna listen to the first one here from Amir.
Bro, that's so true. The thing that you're saying, how would Bayern Munich buy Nicholas Jackson if they already have an insane striker in Harry Kane, right? And two, bro, I think if Nicholas Jackson would join Bayern Munich, I think he would be used more as squad depth because he's not competing against Harry Kane that just won a trophy with Bayern, right?
Completely agree with you, Amir. I definitely think, you know, when they have a striker of Harry Kane, obviously Harry Kane's getting a little bit older. I think Nicholas Jackson is a little bit younger, and that might be a reason. But also too, when you compare the quality of Nicholas Jackson to the likes of Harry Kane, there's a big drop off in quality there, as far as I'm concerned. You know, you're talking about Nicholas Jackson, a guy at Chelsea who really hasn't performed well. But on the flip side of things, Chelsea are selling a lot of guys, like very easily, who I think have struggled, but teams still seem to be very interested in them. So you know, we'll have to wait and see. You know, I think Nicholas Jackson's a really interesting option. I know he's been linked with Newcastle. It really just comes down to the fact that, you know, how much does Nicholas Jackson want to play? Obviously, Bayern are a juggernaut in Europe, but yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Lucky just said, Rostostock said Chelsea might be a dark horse city to finish second, and Lucky said we have to keep an eye out for Chelsea. I completely agree, especially when we're going off of what Amir just said, their ability to sell guys like Nicholas Jackson. I think I saw 45 million potentially for Nicholas Jackson. That's an incredible bargain, or not bargain. That's an incredible value that Chelsea could be getting back from him. We're gonna listen here to the other voice note that Amir left for us. Here we go.
Bro, can I tell you my top five for who wins the Ballon d'Ors? Ballon d'Or for me, fifth would be Mbappe. For me, fifth
Okay.
would be Mbappe. Fourth would be for me, fourth would actually be Lewandowski. Third would be for me Lamine Yamal. Second would be Rafinha. First would be Dembele for winning the Champions League.
So Amir, I like a lot what you said there, Amir. But Amir, you got to have Mo Salah in your top five for the Ballon d'Or. No, I think there's a good chance Salah could win it. You know what I mean? I agree with a lot of the guys that you put in your top five there. Dembele for sure. I think he's going to be really, really challenging for the Ballon d'Or this season. I think you probably overthought it, Amir. That you know, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, how did I forget that guy? I do that all the time when I make videos and stuff like that. That I'll forget. Yeah, he said true down below in the chat. Yeah, I think I definitely think Salah really, really could be pressing for the Ballon d'Or. No need to apologize, man. No need to. I knew that once I said Salah that you'd be like, oh man, I forgot Salah. But yeah, I think Salah, Dembele, and Lamine Yamal. Amir said he's gonna hop off for the night. Amir, thank you very much for joining the chat. I appreciate you very, very much. And I'm gonna make sure to check out your channel, and I'll leave a couple comments. Absolutely, for sure. And anyone who's interested, I think Amir might make videos. So you know, check his channel out for sure. Amir, you have a great night, man. God bless you and your family. Red Time said, people underestimate Jackson. He can create for himself and is a good dribbler. The guy misses sitters. That's his only problem. Jackson would improve Newcastle a lot. That's if he wants to go to them. Yeah, I think, man, it's, we just haven't seen it yet. We just haven't seen the production out of him and the output that, in my opinion, would be needed for Nicholas Jackson to make a really, really smart move for the likes of Newcastle and for the likes of Bayern Munich, obviously, as well. But you know, we'll have to wait and see, of course. You know, how this all transpires and stuff. I do think it would be a better transfer for the likes of I do think it would be a better transfer for the likes of Newcastle. Obviously, still a gamble. I think hypothetically, right, if Newcastle were to bring in Vissa and Jackson, I think that would be good for them. they're not getting the star-studded talent that they probably wanted, but you're getting two very good players. Well, you're getting one very good player, in my opinion, from Vissa, and you have the likes of Nicholas Jackson, who I think does have somewhat of an upside that really, really could be beneficial for them as well. For sure. Amir said good night. Thank you again, Amir, for joining the channel. You have a great night, brother. And anyone else who wants to join in with putting in a voicemail to SpeakPipe, it's down below in the description. And if you put in a voicemail like I did for Amir a couple times through the stream, I will play your voicemail live. It's just, it doesn't cost anything or anything like that. It's just so maybe your voice could be heard instead of the chat. Lucky Singh said, Rasta Stocks not really favor of playing Chelsea. Yeah, I think you're saying maybe he hasn't done well at Chelsea there, Lucky. I think that might be what you're hitting at a little bit. But yeah, I think I do think that Nicholas Jackson is a little bit of a gamble, for sure. But we'll have to wait and see where he lands, and what the best option for him is as well. So I just got a report. Obviously, I know a lot of us probably knew that this was coming, but Fabrizio Romano said Manchester United and RB Leipzig have signed all documents for Benjamin Sesko deal. And also, too, Manchester United remain in contact with Baleba agents in the last 48 hours. So, yeah. Eddie Howe apparently said it's clear at the moment we can't have Isak involved with the group. That apparently was reported by Fabrizio Romano as well, that that is coming officially from the likes of Eddie Howe regarding the Alexander Isak situation. What else do you guys want to talk about? Obviously, I'll hop off as soon as maybe the chat gets a little bit more dry, but I'm here with you guys until it gets to that point. And if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, please feel free. Obviously, I put up on the screen there potential for us to talk about our the Ballon d'Or race as well. And who we think could win the Ballon d'Or. Man, I've been going for... How long have I been going for here? About an hour 40. Hour and 40 long stream. How many signings will Tottenham make? See, maybe one or two more from Tottenham. Rasta Stocks just said I sent a voice note. Let's check it out here. Alright, we got a voicemail here from Rasta Stocks that we are going to listen to.
This is Rasta Stocks here, yeah? For me, it hurts me that you guys won the league. We're both tied with league titles. A win is a win, yeah? Condolences to Diogo Jota and his brother.
Thank you.
And just to answer the Ballon d'Or, for me, Ousmane Dembele, because they did the treble, the two trophies in Liga, which is a Liga title and the cup, and the Champions League. That's why I say he has the edge over everybody else.
Thank you, Rasta Stocks. Thank you for sending in a voicemail as well. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think as a Liverpool fan, I obviously really, really want Mo Salah to win the Ballon d'Or. It's hard to go against Dembele, especially coming off winning several trophies. I completely agree. I think that those two are going to be the two that are really going to battle it out. Obviously, Rafinha and Lamine Yamal are two players that I think are going to be really, really high on the Ballon d'Or as well. But I do tend to agree with you, Rasta Stocks, that when you look at what PSG were able to accomplish, I think Dembele is a really, really high candidate for it. And credit to him, He's played very, very well. Thank you very much for giving the credit to Liverpool. Um, and obviously as well, I would like to reiterate what Rasta Stocks had to say about the condolences to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. Of course, for sure, it's so tragic. Um, Lucky said, Mo Salah, my world, Machine, Lamine Yamal. Yeah, same Lamine Yamal. They're both just great players. Yeah, really, 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 really good players. That Lamine Yamal too. When you look at him and you see 18 years of age, the ability that he has is really, really just like he's such a good player, man. He's such a good player. Um, but yeah, I think my top five in no particular order would be Usman Dembele. I think Mohamed Salah, um, Lamine Yamal. I think you could probably throw Rafinha in there. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like a Virgil van Dijk or maybe a Vitinha as well could be some options for the Ballon d'Or. Vitinha was so brilliant in that PSG side as well. Obviously, we all know that the Ballon d'Or is so heavy on attacking minded players, forwards, wingers, those things. But yeah, definitely for sure. Red Times said I sent a voicemail. All right, Red Times. Let me see here. 15-second clip here from Red Times.
Hello, this is Red Times. I wanted to ask you, who do you think will score more between Gyökeres, Ekitike, and Sesko in this upcoming season?
That is really, really, actually, that's a really great question, Red Times. I think a if I was to say who is going to score more, Ekitike, Gyökeres, and Benjamin Sesko. Just analyzing it, I would say it's going to be harder for Ekitike. Let me clarify why I think Ekitike will be harder for him to score. Is I think Ekitike not is in a different situation than Sesko and Gyökeres. Ekitike's got to come in and win his spot on a team that just won the Prem. I think that's going to be a lot more difficult of a challenge for Ekitike versus Gyökeres and Sesko. I'm going to assume that we're probably, in my opinion, Gyökeres and Sesko, it's a little bit more likely that they are going to walk into starting positions. Arsenal have needed a number 9 for quite some time now at this point, and I think that Gyökeres will probably walk in. I think if I was to guess, right, based on what we've seen, I am going to guess. I'm going to guess Gyökeres, then Sesko, then Ekitike this season, because I think Ekitike is a young player who has to earn his spot into the Liverpool team, and especially if we sign Alexander Isak, I think Ekitike will probably play off the left, which is probably going to reduce the amount of goals he could score. And yeah, I think Gyökeres has scored so many goals in Liga NOS, in the Portuguese league for Sporting. It's hard to say that he's not going to be able to replicate that in some capacity. And then Benjamin Sesko, I think, is going to be walking into a team where he's probably going to be starting. Now, if Ekitike gets more time than I'm going to predict for him, then I think there's a really good chance he scores more goals. But unfortunately, comparatively to Gyökeres and Sesko, I think he's probably going to come off the bench a lot more. Whereas I think Gyökeres and Sesko are going to start the first games of the season. Maybe that will be the case with Ekitike, especially if we haven't made the Isak signing at that point. But that Red Times, that would be my guess. I would say I would say Ekatike, Sesko, Gyökeres, and that's just going off how good Gyökeres was in Liga NOS, and he has a lot of experience. And then I think Sesko and Ekatike will come after that. Um, Lucky said, "Send my flowers to Diogo Jota and his family, and my wishes to family and their health." Absolutely, for sure, man. Niche fan said, "I'm," and this is an interesting one. If you guys are just joining, we were talking to we were talking. Rasta Stock said, "Question: Are you using OBS?" I am using OBS. Um, Lucky said, "We'll bring Benjamin Sesko off the bench potentially, but I think he'll probably eventually secure a starting spot. I think you guys spending 80-90 million on Sesko is indicative that he'll probably be an option as a striker." Niche Fan said, and this is an interesting topic that Niche Fan was talking about earlier in the stream. He said, "I'm back, and yeah, PSG are bigger than you, mate. You're not winning any more UCL, and all of your European Cups were years ago. We won a Champions League in 2019. I mean, that it's 6 years ago at this point, but it's not like decades ago, like Manchester United. Come on, PSG are not a bigger club than Liverpool. I refuse to believe that." Niche Fan, "End feels dated, and it shows. The Cop End is the only decent thing about it, and we're getting a state-of-the-art mega stadium in 5 years or less." Yeah, Lucky Sesko will be coming off the bench. Niche Fan, I think that's, with all due respect, Niche Fan, and I appreciate you participating in the chat, I think that's ridiculous. I do not think PSG are a bigger club than Liverpool, and I think to point out our European Cups, we've won more European Cups than United, so you're going based off of the fact that PSG won a European Cup this year. That's great, but they're not a bigger club globally than Liverpool. No chance. Rasta Stock says, "How do you view your manager so far?" Obviously, he's done fantastic. I don't think Arna is perfect. I think that's reflective specifically in the FA Cup match that we got knocked out of last season. I think he didn't prepare for us, and we got knocked out by a team that we are a lot better than, obviously. But yeah, and he didn't prepare to potentially have to field players that would secure us that win, and I think that showed his inexperience. But I really, really like Arna. I think he was great in the Premier League. I just hope that going forward, he improves maybe in our cup competitions. Obviously, we made the Carabao Cup final, and I was a little disappointed to not win that as well. Rasta Stock said, "PSG still a small club. Come here to other clubs, respectively." Yeah, I think I definitely agree that I definitely think Liverpool are a bigger club than PSG. I think that's a little biased, Niche Fan. I got to be honest with you. I think Liverpool are a far bigger club than PSG. Maybe I'm being biased there. I don't think I am, though. I think Liverpool are a bigger club than PSG. Plymouth Argyle, that's who we lost to, Rasta Stocks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Niche Fan says, "I appreciate you letting me be in the chat. PSG will dominate for the UCL for multiple years now until we get our stadium up and running." So, Niche Fan, are you saying that PSG will dominate in the Champions League until United come back and are firing on all cylinders? Come on, that's not the truth. That's not the. They might dominate in the I think it's more likely that they dominate in the Champions League, that you guys just miraculously completely turn your club around and start playing well again. Honestly, I do. I think it's more likely that that's the case than just Manchester United miraculously just turn everything around like that. Yep, I have to say. But I do appreciate you participating for sure, Niche Fan. I always appreciate it. I always appreciate it. So I'm probably, guys, unless we get a lot more viewers in the next couple of minutes, I'm probably going to be hopping off in a few more minutes. So get a couple more chats in. If any of you want to submit any more voicemails for the show, please make sure to do so. And I'll play them live on the stream. I'll get a couple more chats. I should be streaming tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think I should stream tomorrow. And then obviously I'll be doing a live watch along for the Community Shield as well on Sunday. So get your chats in. I'll answer a couple more. If there's any more voicemails that you guys want to send in, please drop them in the speak pipe. It's down below in the description. And I'll answer a few more things, and we'll call it a stream because we're coming towards the 2-hour mark. Who is Tottenham's best signing? I would say Mohamed Kudus is Tottenham's best signing. Have you seen New Carrington? It's the absolute bollocks. I haven't seen the New Carrington. And have you seen the vision for the new stadium? It's going to be the best thing in England, better than Wembley. What? Yeah, but what does that have to do with the club turning around? Like, you just have a good training facility and a good new stadium. That's not what just turns teams around miraculously, Niche fan. It's the signings. It's and not for nothing. We saw we saw what happened with Arsenal years ago when Arsenal built the Emirates. They were much better of a team in Highbury. They invested a ton of money in the Emirates, and then unfortunately, due to that investment, it took them years and years to reach back to the pinnacle that they could. And because of the investment of the Emirates, Arsenal could not invest the sort of money in players that they wanted to. I fear that might be the case with the new stadium. Obviously, you needed a new stadium for sure, but I don't think it's the perfect time right now for you guys to just be building a super stadium when the club has been struggling and you just finished in 15th and you haven't been playing your best over the past couple of seasons. Thank you to whoever just subscribed to the channel. I saw we just got a new subscriber. If any of you are joining along with us and aren't subscribed, please make sure to do so and like the video as well. I appreciate it very much, guys. I'm also, if you haven't seen, my socials are up in the top. They filter through throughout the stream. So if you like TikTok, I'm on TikTok, at Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it. I have that as well. But let me know a couple more chats here, maybe another voicemail or two, and we will call it a night, guys. I appreciate all you guys for joining in with us. Thank you all very, very much. I really, really do appreciate it. And I love coming on live. Live is kind of a newer thing that I've been doing over the past couple weeks, months. I really, really enjoy it. I love making YouTube videos, obviously, as well. But I really, really love the opportunity to come on and engage with you guys. I think the Speak Pipe is a really, really cool thing to where it gives you guys an opportunity to call into the show, get your voice heard. Obviously, I don't have the biggest channel in the world, but I'm definitely looking to build and stuff like that, and just working hard and stuff. So I really, really appreciate you guys, and you know, if you have any friends that are interested in this sort of content, share it with them. Like the video, subscribe, comment, get in the chat, get in the speak box as well. I love the fact that the speak box is kind of started to take off a little bit. You know, and I love that you guys like talk to each other in the chat as well and give your opinions to each other. Lucky said, Rasta Stocks, our aim, focus on better players. Yes, great platform, new training ground was something. Last point pipeline. Niche fan said, how long is Anfield going to last, though? You'll need a new stadium at some point if you want to keep up with the big boys. What? Oh, man. Niche man, we are one of the big boys. We have more European titles. We're tied with you on top flight titles. We're one of the big boys. If we need to build a new stadium, for sure. But building a new stadium, as I mentioned, is not the catalyst to making your team bigger. You don't struggle for 10 years in the Premier League, and then you just build a super stadium, and then it's like, oh, this is how we're going to revitalize Manchester United. You need to do other things. Red Time said, currently without any more signings, which team looks better in your opinion between Spurs and Manchester United? No more signings. We're not making any more signings. We're just going off the players that Spurs have and the players that United have. Which is better? United. And I don't like saying that. I'd rather, you know me, man. I'd rather see Spurs do better than United. But that potential front three of United could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. And I think I definitely think United look better than Spurs. For sure. I think you guys have we do exactly that because we're Man United. Niche fan. Oh man, that's the mentality that kills you guys. Though it's just, oh, we're Man United, so things will turn around. You can't have that. Can't have that mentality, dude. You guys, oh, dude, you can't have that mentality, niche fan. You guys really like. You need improvements in players and stuff like that, and you can't just be like, oh, we're going to build a new stadium, and that's going to be the answer. Oh, and by the way, you're not getting Isak. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we absolutely are. Lucky said, Red Love Queen. Rostostock said, Lucky Singh, I agree with you. I still don't trust Ineos. Something is off about Jim the Rat. PSG is going to cook Spursy. The Saudis aren't selling him to you. Okay. We'll see. We'll see, Niche fan. We'll see. When we do sign him, I'll tell you this much, Niche fan. When we do sign him, join the stream when we do sign him. Because I'll stream when we officially sign Isak. I'm going to stream. And I want you here. I hope you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so. But when we do sign Isak, join the stream. I might title, hell, Niche fan, I might title the stream, hey Niche fan, we just signed Isak. That's what I might do, buddy. I might. He's back in training at Newcastle and he doesn't look happy. You would have signed him already. Well, I've subbed as I like your channel. I appreciate it, dude. But dude, you left the stream for a little bit and I read this out. There was a I gotta go back to my Twitter here and pull up what I read. It was Fabrizio Romano put out a report from Rasta Stocks. Thank you for following me on Twitter too, brother. I just saw that. I'm gonna give you a follow back. Thank you, man. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano on the Isak thing. What did he say? I saw it. 27 minutes ago, he put out a YouTube link. It says, Manchester United remain in contact with Baleba agents in the last 48 hours. Isak keeps rejecting new contract from Newcastle. He also tweeted out a tweet 1 hour ago from Fabrizio Romano. This is a report from Eddie Howe. It says, it's clear at the moment we can't have Isak involved with the group. He is here, so of course he has a future at Newcastle. From our perspective, we would love to have him back in the team, but the situation has to be right for that to happen. So the report says, it's clear at the moment we can't have Isak involved in the group. And you're confident that Isak is not going to go to Liverpool? Come on now. Come on now. Come on. You know, Niche fan, he's coming to the Big Reds. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Red Time said, United also don't offer high wages anymore. Liverpool gave Ekitike 250k based on reports, while Sesko is at 160k. Cunha and Mbumo are at 150 as well. Media were reporting 250k on Mbumo. I'm not 100% sure, Red Times, but I actually don't think Ekitike is making 250. I think it's a little bit less than that. Rasta Stock said, I subscribe. The notification bells are on. One of these days, I would like to do a collaboration sometime in the future. For sure, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nishvan said, Red Times, we're building the new stadium, so have a new wage policy. Lucky Singh said, Rasta Stocks, glad me and friends put pressure on the Glazers. Yeah, I think that Nishvan, your thoughts on this new stadium, brother, are just you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know for sure. Yeah, I, I, I don't think that is going to be the catalyst that's completely going to turn them around entirely. Also, guys, I just want to give a shout out. Rasta Stocks also makes uh, he also makes YouTube content as well.
We are
So please make sure to
evolving.
go to his channel,
All right, we're evolving.
and subscribe and check out his content as well. Hold on one second. Copy link. I just put it in the chat as well. Rasta Stocks makes content as well, so please, guys, make sure to go give his channel a look, and please make sure to subscribe to him as well, like his videos, check out his other content as well. Rasta said, Lucky Singh, I wanted Qatar to buy and get rid of the Cancer. I don't know if I can say that on stream. I curse all the time. So Cancer, there are the Glazers, but some other fans decide to let Jim run things because he's from Manchester. Give me a break. Lucky said, at least we buy in players, man. Yeah, I know. You guys have made great signings for sure. I think that's awesome. But you know, you got like I don't think that what you've been saying is the the stadium is going to be the catalyst that completely turns Manchester United around. I don't believe that. I don't agree. You know, I don't agree that that's the case. You know, I think you made good signings as well. You know, but I don't necessarily entirely believe that that's the sole thing that's going to turn your club around entirely. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you for joining the stream. Very, very much. Shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to some of the guys that participated. Shout out to Niche Fan. Shout out to Lucky. Shout out to Rasta. As I mentioned, go check out Rasta Stocks' YouTube. I linked it in the chat as well. So please make sure to go check out his videos and his content. And Rasta Stocks, thank you for joining in as well. I said shout out Niche. I said shout out Lucky. Shout out Red Times as well. Red Times, do you put out YouTube content? I want to go check this out because if you do, I want to make sure to shout out his channel. Red Times sounds like it's a YouTube channel as well. If you don't put out content, no worries, but I do want to give you a shout out and thank you for sending in a voice note as well. It doesn't look like Red Times makes content, but if you do, let me know. Thank you for supporting. Yep, shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Amir. I know he was chatting along with us earlier. Shout out to Christopher, who was joined earlier in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Rasta said, I just got back into streaming about 2 months ago. I try to be consistent, but I'm not perfect, but I try. It's all about that consistency, brother. All right, guys. Thank you all. About 2-hour long stream. As I mentioned, I should be streaming tomorrow, and then I'll probably be doing a watch along for the for the sorry, my brain just went to mush. The Community Shield as well. So thank you all for joining. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the like button on this video. Keep your eyes out for another stream as well. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on TikTok. Thank you all very, very much. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a blessed night. God bless all of you. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.